We're going to go ahead and get started here. Welcome to Mastering Sales with Brent Gove. And for those of you that don't know me, I've been in real estate 27 years. I've sold, somewhere around 5,000 homes. I, of course, have done that with a lot of help. Nobody sells a lot of real estate by themselves. I've had listing specialists and buyer's agents working for me. I am not a broker. I am just an agent. And I've had teams as big as 45 buyer's agents at once and as small as just me doing it solo till I learned how to do real estate. So today we want to kind of get into some of the key fundamentals of making it sales. So number one, write this down. Ready? Start with why. Why are you doing this? Do you have, who's counting on you? How about that one? Are your kids counting on you? I bet they are. It's your spouse, your husband, your wife. Why? And what would you do if you did start selling, say, 2 homes a month? Let's see, I'm going to go to Jason Hamilton. Jason, if you could unmute yourself. You live in Sacramento, California. What do you think the average commission, what's the average price of a home there?
550-ish.
550-ish. And if you take, are most commissions out there about 2.5, Jason?
Yeah, 2.5 on average.
2.5. Believe it or not, there's some parts of the country where they are 3%, but we'll go for 550 times 2.5% equals. So there's a commission of $13,700. So let's just whittle it away with broker fees and this and call it 10. If you're at 100% and you're with the brokerage that will take you to 100%, then you actually get all of that. So that's pretty good. But let's say it was 10 grand because not everyone's market is 550. You sell 2 homes a month, that's 20,000 a month times 12. That's 240,000 a year. Maybe you have $40,000 worth of marketing expenses, this and that, automobile, whatever, websites. 200,000 a year is not a bad income. And here's the deal. At 2 sales a month, you're just playing. You got 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you're making 2 sales a month, you are playing. So here's the deal. We want to talk to you about how to go to the next level. But first start with why. Chet Hemstetter, I forget his last name exactly, but he wrote a book called How to Build a Multi-Billion-Dollar Sales Machine. He said, whatever you're doing, start with why. Why will you put yourself through these open houses? Why will you get out there at 9 in the morning and go till 9 at night? I mean, well, that's kind of extreme, 12 hours. Talk to somebody who worked in a coal mine 18 hours. It is not extreme. You have to wear nice clothes. You're not filthy, dirty, and you're not going to die if you get if the roof collapses on you. Let me tell you, we have become soft. That's why people come here from other nations, other third world countries, and become millionaires. They're like, oh my gosh, America is the land of opportunity. So don't be soft. So here's the deal. I remember when sellers would call, they'd raise their hand, buyers would, come list me. Here's the bottom line. It's an acquired skill. Most agents start with buyers and they transition to sellers. And then they build a team, and then they buy a brokerage, and then they buy another office, and then they might buy a franchise, then they buy 2 or 3 franchises, then they buy a region. It's kind of the process that people go through in real estate. It is an acquired skill. Nobody hit the lottery. It's you got to be willing to get on Zooms like this. I'm preaching to the choir, right? With 35 people on here. And you have to be willing to go to, I remember going to Brian Buffini events, going to Star Power with Howard Brenton, going to NAEA, going to Osprat, going to Craig Proctor events, going to Mega Camp and Family. Man, I've been to so much stuff, and you learn and grow. And here's the deal. Well, is the event going to just do it all? Nope. It's like getting a little piece here and a little piece there and a little piece there and a little piece there. Pretty soon you have this beautiful painting, this beautiful collage, this mosaic of your life. It's not build that's going to happen this summer. Our big summer conference we're doing in San Antonio, July 10th through 12th. You absolutely should be there. By the way, newsflash, rooms will be sold out in 7 to 10 days. If you don't have a ticket room, I would knock that out today. You'll be staying 20 minutes away, and it's just a 40-minute round trip, and you will not get as much out of that event. So make sure you do that. But here's the bottom line. This is an acquired skill. Everybody's terrible when they start. How do I write a purchase contract? I remember a guy named Tim Yee taught me how to use lock boxes. And then he taught me what to do when there was an alarm system. The alarm was going off. And I remember one time the key broke off in the front door. I'm like, what do I do? And he's like, go ahead and lock the front door and go out the back slider. Called the listing agent and said, I did nothing wrong. And I didn't. I put the key in its snapped in the deadbolt. So I've locked the front door. I slipped out to the back door because I can't wait around. This isn't my fault. I did nothing. And I left and I let them know and everything was great. But I didn't know how to handle that. I totally know how to handle it now. I know what to do if there's a German Shepherd in the backyard. Don't go in the backyard. Don't go make friends with the German Shepherd. You know, someone's 7-year-old runs out and they get mauled and they're like, oh, I thought I was friends with the German Shepherd. And so, but when you're new, you do dumb stuff. Like we saw, this is so funny. There were my client and his friend and myself, and we're all 6'2" and probably weighed more than we should have weighed. And there's a big sign on the back slider. It says, hey, please go in the backyard. Our dog Ginger's super friendly, wouldn't hurt a flea, no problemo, big smiley face. So we're like, I'm picturing Ginger like a bowling ball, right? Oh, hell no. We get on that deck and here comes Ginger, hauling butt, peeling gravel around the corner, and she sees 3 men on her deck. Ginger was a German Shepherd that weighed about 120 pounds. The 3 of us turn around and we all tried to go through the slider at the same time. It was open and we like got stuck at the slider and we could just feel Ginger coming. We like dove through the door and slammed that thing shut as this dog slammed into this slider. You learn some things if you're out there showing property, how to deal with dogs, how to deal with everything. So again, this is an acquired skill. You can learn how to work with builders. So here's buyers. I'm going to do buyers first. Who do you know who's succeeding at a high level with buyers? We are doing a buyer event in Sacramento next Thursday from 10 to noon, Buyer Mastery. We have an incredible speaker coming in who's going to rock your minds. And that's the kind of thing you want to show up with 5 to 10 people, guests from other brokerages. And then you say, go back to Coldwell Banker and prosper. Go back to Century 21 and kill it. Go back to Compass. Come and go back to Remax and do great. That's it. Bring people. And so are you showing up to these events? Are you taking notes? Are you learning and growing? So here's the deal. Look around and go, who's doing really well with buyers? What's your definite? I don't know. It's up to you. If they're selling 20 buyers a year, well, 30 buyers a year, it's $250,000 a year. How about 60? Do you know anyone doing? I know people who sell 100 homes a year at $1 million a pop to buyers. I would go work for that person. You want a tip? Go work for a killer. Watch them, study them, emulate them. If they turn left, you turn left. If they go right, you go right. If they stop, you stop. You're very, very watching. You watch them. I remember when it was just me and John Brooks Realty in Sacramento, California in 1996, 1997, 1998 would beat everybody. They beat Coldwell Banker, they beat Remax, and they beat Century 21. Keller Williams didn't exist. They were not in Sacramento. And John Brooks Realty was winning all the bids. John Brooks. I remember thinking, I should quit Remax and go work for John Brooks. They're kicking everyone's butt. I'm going to go learn what they do and I'm going to kick everyone's butt. Well, I stumbled across one of their open houses and oh my God, this is how they do it. I copied their system verbatim. 6 years later, I was selling 400 homes a year. Brent, I don't want to be a buyer's agent. Okay, what do you want to be? I want to be a listing agent. Look around San Diego. Look around Colorado Springs, Colorado. Look around Albuquerque, New Mexico. Who is a star that you admire? I found someone I admired selling 180 homes a year, and I worked for Remax, and everybody else was selling this. There were about 5 to 7 other agents out of 800 that were selling 70 to 80. And there was one guy doing 180. He lapped everybody in the entire company. He also cussed and swore like a sailor, had been thrown out of every title company in Sacramento for using profanity and cussing out the title rep and the escrow officer and the branch manager. And he was barred from First American Title, Chicago Title, Alliance Title, Old Republic Title. He literally was not allowed to set foot in a title company. They're just like, F you, we don't want your business. You don't treat us right. And I made a decision not to join that man, even though he was the most successful guy, that the culture and that they didn't line up. Does that make sense to everybody? So just because they're successful doesn't mean you should join them. So make sure, like, I would bring my family around this person. I would like to vacation with this person, and they sell 100 homes a year, or maybe they list 100 homes a year. My advice, go work for them. Emulate them, watch them, say, would you teach me the ways? I'll go. I remember I was selling, it was 1999 when I made that decision. You know how much I made that year? $393,000. And I made a decision to go to work for somebody on a 50-50 split and give up 200,000 a year towards my education for a year so I could learn how to make $1 million a year? How many of you would give up 200,000 a year to make $1 million a year every year? So with that attitude, it's kind of cool. Last year, I made well over $8 million because I have that attitude. You got to put in to go forward. You first got to slow down to speed up. And so on that note, well, no, I'm gonna keep going because this is supposed to be a little bit more limited. So we're gonna be done in about 5 minutes here. I'm gonna keep going. Urgency. Do you have a sense of urgency with your buyers? Do you expect to show property this weekend, write an offer, and put them in escrow? I do. Or do you expect it to take 6 months and buy new construction, or probably buy with a Coldwell Banker agent or a Remax agent, or buy with somebody else, and you'll spend 6 months of your life on them to buy because that's been your experience. Listen to me. That was my experience too. Instead, I said, not anymore, baby. And you got to get your head right. When I was a high school soccer player, our coach would have us lay on the field prior to the game, and everyone close your eyes. And if the goalie would picture himself diving across the goalie and punching the bar out or knocking the ball out. If I was a center fullback, the ball's coming across the middle, boom, off my forehead, back to the sidelines or back up and clearing the ball out. It was the halfbacks, they'd catch it, trap it in their chest, turn, make a pass, an outlet pass, and then they'd cut up, and then it would be a give and go. And we played the entire game in our head before we ever played the game. And we were the championship team. You know what? He did that with volleyball. He did that with badminton. He did it with football. He did it with baseball. I never had a coach that had us play the baseball game before we played. If you're a center fielder, you're diving through the head. You're outside, you boom, you catch it. You bounce up, you fire to home plate, you throw them out. You play the game. Or are you playing the game before you play the game? Do you do the entire listing appointment in your head? There's a guy that was in the Hanoi Hilton. 5 years, POW, Vietnam. And they put him in isolation. You see nobody, and did not go crazy. Most people died. He played a round of golf in his mind, all 18 holes. He'd tee off, he'd get a fairway wood. He was a golfer. He'd hit that. Sometimes it's a par 5, then he'd hit a chip, 100-yard chip on the green. Sometimes he'd make a curling putt right to left. He'd invent the greens. He remembered certain golf courses, and he played a game of golf every day, 365 days a year for 5 years. He got out and shot a 68 without touching a club in 5 years. Do you play the game before you play the game? Or are you just playing a game? Are you just playing? I ain't playing. I am not playing. You guys with me? And so have a sense of urgency, create momentum, write that down, create momentum. Everything you touch turns to gold. And listen to me, the way you get there is you get a golden ticket to the struggle bus. You're going to have to struggle through this unless you've done some sort of other sales. If you were in pharmaceutical sales where you paid a price, if you're a financial planner where you paid the price, if you were an insurance agent where you paid the price, if you did door-to-door alarm sales or door-to-door solar sales, or you were in solar sales, or you sold timeshares, if you paid the price and you really grew as a human being and you know how to connect authentically, I will say this word, and then laugh at yourself if you can't say the word authentically. But if you connect authentically with people and you smile at them and you're like, you know what? Because I have this thing. You'll think of me as a narcissist, but it's not. Listen to me. Everybody loves me. I love everybody. They love me. I love them. Skip Ross taught me that 40 years ago. I was 19 years old. Had a tape called Dynamic Living. Everybody loves me. Hey, how are you? And guess what? People are so friendly. Does everybody love you? Well, that sounds kind of, okay, fine. Does everyone hate you? Self-loathing doesn't serve the world, baby. I say it all the time. And I'm not talking about too much self-love, but I'm talking about you got to be comfortable in your skin. You know what? You're not perfect. My nose isn't perfect. My weight isn't perfect. You're too skinny. You're too fat. You're too tall. You're too short. So what? God made you, baby. Winston Churchill. I think he was short. But we love him, right? Quit thinking about your facial features, the color of your eyes, one ear's lower than the other, or whatever. Just laugh. Your teeth aren't perfect. Who cares, man? Go be a force for good and realize you are going to get on the struggle bus. And these are acquired skills, and you will figure out the buyer side. You will figure out the listing side. You can become a listing agent. And so Just do it again and again and again, and look for evidence of success. Go find those people, attach yourself at the hip, and copy what they do, and do it again and again and again. And play the game. Show property before you show property. Write the offer before you write the offer. Picture the listing agent being excited to talk to you, receiving, or picture them saying, well, could you at least present it verbally? Just a quick, I sent you 5 highlights in the text. Can you just let your seller know? Because we got to write an offer on a different home. We can't wait till Tuesday. You can wait till Tuesday. No problem. Totally get that. But if you could just let them know it's $20,000 over full price, it's as is, we'll let them stay 3 months rent free. You just let them know. Okay. Oh my God, they accepted your offer. Oh, really? Shocker. I ain't shocked because I've done that a million times. Right? Love you guys. I hope today was helpful. Thank you for coming to Mastering Sales with Brent Gove. And I hope this was encouraging. Have an awesome day. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Bye, everybody.